Hey guys, this is Eric Weingartner with Weingartner Racing. It's Saturday, which means it's an update video day. So there is some tech in these videos, but typically it's more like what's going on in the shop. But one of the last time I'd done the video, it's been a couple weeks since I've even done an update video because I went on vacation last week. And the last time I did when I said I was doing a no purchase giveaway, and it was some of my tech books. I think these are actually more valuable than getting a shirt. Although I really wish you guys would purchase the shirts, it helps with things. But there was one winner, and I said there would be three. And all you have to do is, was enter a number between 1 and 100. And if you got the number, you got the books. I only had one winner. And if you're that winner guy, I haven't mailed these out yet because I went on vacation. So I'm going to send you your books. And this one on the top here, it's the one written by David Visor. I'm going to send that to him so he can autograph it. And then he will mail that to you, hopefully. But anyway, so there's that. But guess what? The sad part is, hope I don't spill anything. I still have enough books. I separated them into 3 piles to give out books to 2 more people, but no other 2 people picked it. So it's still, I'm going to continue this, no purchase giveaway, but I'm going to narrow the numbers down so maybe you can guess the number. I want you to email me at weingartnerracing@gmail.com. All you got to do is pick a number between 1 and 50. So a lot of people guessed 57. Like it's probably the most guessed one. It was wrong. So pick a number between 1 and 50, and you could be the winner. I've got another David Visor book that hopefully I can get him to sign and send that to you. But I'm going to do one other one. This one's going to be separate just because I had enough books where they didn't evenly space out. In other words, if I divided them by 3, it wouldn't get the same, people wouldn't get the same amount of books. So I'm going to do one for just this guy. I'm going to look this week and try to find this guy and see if I can get him to sign it because this book right here, I just happened to be flipping through it as I was getting ready to make this video. This is written by Graham Hansen, and it's a cylinder head book about small blocks, but not really applies to other stuff too. This one, I have to say, and I'm not knocking David Visor, although some of you will think that I am, this book is actually amazing. I forgot what's all in it. I just open it up. It has float figures. Let's see if I can get to the right page. There we go. It actually has flow figures from different heads if you're in the small block Chevy world. It also tells you how to port them, and he does something better. At least I like it better anyway. He's got a basic, trying to flip here. Forgive me as I'm doing this on camera. True, I could have stopped. Yeah, he has the basics on how to port heads. It even has velocity charts in there. He even stacks everything up together. Cylinder head rebuilding and assembly. I mean, this is a really, really good book. There it is. There's your velocity ones that it has with it. This is really, really neat. So as far as books go, as far as cylinder head stuff, if you're into it, and please don't take this as me knocking David Visor. I just like this book better. I really want to see if I can't find him, see if I can get him to sign it and send it to the winner. But if you would like to win, again, no purchase necessary. I'll pay for shipping and everything. Simply pick a number between 1 and 50, and you email it to weingartnerracing@gmail.com. And if you win, I'll say, what's your address? And if 2 people happen to guess the correct answer, or well, 3 people can still guess the correct answer, but let's say you had 4, it's the first ones that enter and send me the number correctly. First 3. And you're going to get your books, and it won't cost you a thing. I'll ask for your address, and I'm going to mail it. This guy that did win, like I said, on Monday, I'm going to ship out part of your books. I'm going to send the one that David Visor to get signed. Anyway, what else is going on? You know, what else is happening in the shop that maybe I'd like to talk about or something with you? Well, as you know, I do a lot of engines to just use for dyno testing and whatnot. Well, the LS dyno mule is done. It's ready to be dynoed. So it's that done with the machine. He actually put the engine together. It is ready. So the thing is, we're just waiting on time to get on the dyno because he's got other engines that are ahead of me, which is fine. So it looks like it won't be next week, because next week obviously is July 4th, and he's kind of tied up with stuff anyway with engines. But it looks like the following week, we'll be finally making some horsepower on the LS dyno mule. And here's what the plan goes for that. We'll try to get this all done in one day. Currently, in case you're wondering what it is, it's 4.8 LS dyno mule. It makes, I think it's got like 11.3 or something compression ratio. I'm gonna have to figure it out because it varies with each head dramatically. But anyway, it's got about 11 or so compression ratio. It's got a hydraulic roller cam. I think it's like 222 on duration on intake and 230 something on exhaust. I've actually got the whole cam sheet. I'll give it to you or show it to you whenever I do the videos. But it's like 620 lift. The first set of heads are on there. This is probably the most important one. Is the stock 823 heads, and I've redid the valve job and just blended the throats, nothing fancy at all. And that's that Texas Speed camshaft, what I just described to you. That's what we're going to dyno with first. Then what we're going to do is we're going to switch to the Truck Norris camshaft from Brian Tooley. And then what we're going to do is we're going to switch to the AFR Enforcer heads, the LS3 ones. And we're going to test with that Truck Norris cam. Then we're going to put that Texas Speed camshaft in it. And then we're actually going to change manifolds, because we're going to test this with a carburetor. We're testing with the Victor Jr. manifold, because the Victor Jr. is the only one that actually fits the 823 heads. I have a Super Victor, but it doesn't fit. When we switch to the AFR Enforcer heads, I'm going to do the Victor Jr., but I'm also going to switch to the Super Victor. That will probably take up the entire day, and I'm hoping we actually get it all done in a day. It's probably going to take a miracle, but we're going to do our best we can. That will wrap up that one session, because I had planned to do mini, because I've got 5 sets of cylinder heads to test. That's only 2. But I'm not going to do them all in one gigantic session just because of time. Every day I'm away from the shop, no money is being made in the shop because I'm a one-man thing. So I still have bills to pay. So as cool as that is, people will never believe me, YouTube does not make enough to pay for those engines or even the dyno sessions, period. So when people buy books, which I'm hoping you will, or the shirts like this, that actually does help with the dyno sessions. So point being is, if I'm away from the shop, I can't make money. So I need to make money to pay bills. So that will end that one. And then I'm probably going to, also the other thing is, it's going to be like 103 degrees. Changing heads on a hot engine when it's that hot is miserable. So we're probably going to wait a while, and then I'll start doing the other heads. And what other heads we have? We have the ProMax small bore heads, LS3 heads. The ProMax large bore heads will be tested. And then also I have a set of Brodix BR3 heads that I've ported, would be tested on that too. And maybe actually a really large hydraulic roller cam as well. So beyond that, there are other projects. Some of you, if you've been watching my channel long enough, will know this. I have a 477 big block Chevy that I'm putting a root supercharger on, and that engine is going in the Camaro. I'm going to take out the motor that's in it now, that will go in. I would really like to do some more testing with that, and that's the reason why these pieces are out here. So this is a smaller pulley I bought. So the pulley I have that's at the shop right now at Dunsworth, I've got one that is going to make about 9 pounds of boost. And then when we switch the pulleys around, it'll make about 15. And this little top one here, if we put this one on, it should make about 20 horsepower, or 20 PSI. We'll see how much power it makes. That's really nice. It's a small, big block Chevy, but should make some really good power. But I bought 2 alcohol, well, I didn't buy. I have 2 alcohol 4150 carburetors I'm going to test on it. I don't have an injector set up. I just don't have that kind of money for sure. But one of the things I did want to test was this, which I wish I had more money. This is the top plate for the 4150, and here's the reason why I wanted to use it. If you look, that blower entry here is about the same size as here. So this is the reason for the 4150, but I really, really, really wish I had 2 1050 alcohol Dominator carburetors because of this. This is the Dominator top plate, and I'm holding it exactly where the carbs would go in. If you notice, look how it curves in, right? Because it's narrowing down. You wouldn't think, well, that's going to be a waste. That's going to mean nothing. But if you guys remember, this is that carb spacer. This is a 4500 to a 4150 adapter. It looks kind of like this. Guess what? When you funnel it like this, they make more power. So I really would like to test, because you know all this stuff that gets dyno tested anyway. I like to try a bunch of different things, and I don't know I've ever seen an actual dyno test where people compared this. But I would love to see a test where we have 4150, 2000 CFMs versus 2 1050s on something like this. They also have a really, by the way, that's what the back looks like, so it's trying to funnel in into the dead areas too. So, but they also have something called a Buffco top, where it's got a nice CNC'd all the way up, and it's a nice taper. It's better than this, and it's about 2 inches taller. I wish I had the money to afford that, to test that too, because then I could say, this is worth how much more than this, and then also how much the Buffco is worth. Because I have never really seen actual dyno tests to prove that. I mean, I got this all from Alky Digger. They have claims that it makes 25 horsepower, but I don't know that I've ever actually seen that. It'd be really cool to test all that and then put an alcohol injection on it to see if the alcohol injection really does make more power. But I don't have that kind of money. Anyway, that's going in the Camaro, two 4150s, thousands. Actually, I'd take that back. They're not even 1,000 CFM. They're 1150s. They're 4150 style carburetors, but they're very, very different. They will dry flow, according to Mark Whitener, about 1150. So if I could compare them to two 1050 alcohols Dominators, it'd be really, really neat. But anyway, that's coming up. And my S10, which I know I don't see very much, and so many people want me to get to the track. One, it's hot, and two, I don't have a lot of time. Again, you'd think, well, you could just go race in the evenings. Most shops close at 5. I don't close at 5. I'm being serious. Usually I get out here about 9 a.m., which is probably later than some shops, but I will stay out here until 7, 8 o'clock at night. So anyway, if I wanted to go, let's say, race in the evenings, you got to spend some time loading up. I have an open trailer. I don't have a closed trailer, so it's not like I could just leave everything in there. So you're talking about 2 or 3 hours just loading everything up to go to the track. And then that time away from the track, even by the time I got there, I just don't get to make as many pulls. I have to pretty much take half a day off work here. There's so much work here that's behind, and besides just needing to make money, customers want their stuff too. So I really want to take the S10 to the track and do some fun with that, but there's no time. But before I even do that, I want to take it to the chassis dyno. And the chassis dyno I was trying to use was the guy that worked for me. His name's Trent. I was going to go to his place in McAllister for his chassis dyno and try doing some chassis dyno pulls there because I want to switch to the bigger blower. I actually have it on an E85. I still need to buy some race E85 to use for that, but I want to do that. I did do an oil change before I left on vacation, which I'll end this whole thing with me, what happened on vacation, but the oil looked fine. There was nothing with it, even though it ate a spark plug, which you wouldn't wire. You wouldn't think that there'd be any stuff in the oil anyway, but blow-by still bad. This is not good. I did plumb it a little bit different so I wouldn't keep spraying oil in my truck bed. But anyway, that's what's going on with that. That pretty much wraps up things. The shop is insanely busy. I should do a better job of showing more of the stuff I'm porting, so maybe I'd get more business in, although I'm busy enough. But I'll work on that. I will. So if you're wondering about what's upcoming tech videos, if you notice I kind of stopped porting that LS3 head, it's because I went on vacation. So I'm going to do one video where I just finish porting it and show you all the rest of the steps that went with that. That's probably going to be the next one. If I have time this weekend, I'll get that done. Anyway, that pretty much concludes any tech part or updates. The rest is just about the vacation and my son's swimming. So if you want to stick around for that, more power to you. If you don't, again, I understand. Because sometimes that can be somewhat boring to other people's. Anyway, guess the number between 1 and 50. Email me at winegunnerracing@gmail.com. You still have a chance to win. So anyway, now to vacation stuff. Okay, I probably shouldn't have said vacation because vacations would imply you had fun, which there were some fun times to it, but it wasn't like we just got to relax and have leisure. What we did was we went to Indianapolis to watch the Olympic trials for swimming. It was amazing, I will say that. By the way, if you'd asked me like 10 years ago, you're into swimming, I'm like, it's okay. But now that my son's in it, I feel like I got further deeper into it for sure. But anyway, we had taken him to go watch that, and so did his whole swim club team. They had, well, most of them had gone to go to the Olympic trials. Now, Olympic trials, by the way, took place from like Saturday all the way to Saturday, so it was like a week. We showed up on Tuesday and went to prelims because they have prelims in the morning and finals in the afternoon. I'm going to show you pictures here in this. It's amazing. So it's inside the Lucas Oil Stadium, which is where the Indianapolis Colts play. As a note, if you go to PRI, that's the same place. And part of it's in the Indianapolis Convention Center, which is also where PRI is located. For the record, PRI is larger. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. Even though Olympic trials are cool and they had 22,000 people show up on Wednesday for us to watch that, PRI is far more stuff. So just to give you an idea, they had something called the Aqua Zone, which was inside the convention center. It took up maybe an eighth of that whole convention center. And if you've ever gone to PRI, it takes up the entire thing. So yeah, it wasn't it was very, very big and it's very, very cool. But the coolest thing is watching people try to swim. My son, watching him actually looking at it and stuff. And this is probably the first time he's ever said this to me. He goes, I want to be here in 4 years. I want to be
at the trials in 4 years, which he is progressing somewhat in swimming, but so it's shocking to hear him say that. Even though I say that, you're going to hear later on about his progress, and this is so rough, especially from a parent standpoint. Maybe it's probably worse for him, but whatever. But anyway, so it was amazing. Got to watch the people swim. You got to watch both joy and heartbreak, and I'll give you one. So we went to the prelims, and there was, I think it was a 200-meter freestyle. It was a girls' one. And what had happened was two of the girls had tied. One has a chance to go to would be an alternate to go to the actual Olympics in Paris. So the two times are tied for them to go. So they have a swim off. And both of them did fantastic. But one won by 0.04 of a second. So you have that one swimmer who's just ecstatic because she's going to get to go to the Olympics as an alternate. The other one, her dreams are just done. So you have extremely happy and extremely just broken. It was really, really touching at that point. But yeah, it was amazing to watch. If you ever get a chance to go to something like that, you should definitely take the opportunity. It was great. But let me show you some of the pictures, and then I'll talk more about it. I'll voice over some of that stuff. But yeah, it was really, really cool. As you can tell, I take the best pictures. My wife looks fantastic at this one. Wait till she sees this. Who am I kidding? She never watched my videos anyway. This is the Aqua Zone. He's signing the kickboard, this gigantic one that people do. I don't know what this thing is called, but you're supposed to use it to help your butterfly stroke. You're not supposed to be able to pull all the way up like that. You're supposed to remain stationary, but Bishop has such strong movements, he's actually pulling the thing forward, so he has to back off. It's kind of funny to watch. I don't think that they thought anybody would be able to do that. It was kind of neat, but that's him to help with the butterfly. There were two people that Bishop wanted to get a picture with through this trials. One of them is this guy. This guy's name is Kyle Sockwell. He is Instagram famous because he was a swimmer, I guess, at Arizona State. He's really, really popular with the younger swimmer crowd, like kids Bishop's age, and then also a little bit, the ones that are just swimming now. Very, very popular on Instagram. I even follow him. He's somewhat entertaining, so he does a great job on that. Bishop wanted so badly to get a picture with him, which was funny because his girlfriend had gotten the picture the night before, and Bishop was so mad because he wasn't there with his girlfriend, because what had happened was, a long story short, he wanted to roam around Indianapolis with his girlfriend, which I was fine with their family, but then he'd have to walk back to the hotel by himself. And if you've ever been in Indianapolis, it's not entirely dangerous, but there's not safety. And I also had to ask him one question to see if he even could make it back, which is a very simple question. You might say, what question did you ask him to see if he was capable of making it around Indianapolis? I asked him, what was the name of our hotel? And he couldn't answer that. So because of that, he missed his chance to see Kyle Sockwell the first night we were there. The second one after finals, which is way late at night, we were like, we'll wait with you. We'll just stand back, and if you see him, go ahead and get your picture. And he waited for like an hour, and he happened just to stumble across him, and Kyle Sockwell was nice enough to get a picture with him. Stand up, dude. If you know Kyle Sockwell or something, follow him on Instagram. He's a great dude. The other one that Bishop wanted to get a picture with was Rowdy Gaines, because if you watched any of my videos about that back then, Rowdy Gaines was announcing for NBC swimming, and I had sent him a request for cameo that I used for Bishop whenever he was going to like swim state, and it was an amazing cameo that he did for him. So I was hoping we get to see him. Both of us emailed, but I think we just emailed too late, and he just didn't get a chance to read it. But he never got a chance to meet him. Some of the other guys from his swim club team did, but it's because they happened to run into him by accident. So, but anyway, that's who that is. This is the most expensive jacket I've ever bought in my life. The things you do for your kids, right? But he really, really wanted this. It says USA on the back and stuff. It's very expensive, but yeah, I mean, he looks good in it, and he'll use it. It's by the way, technically it's a parka, whatever. But yeah, I thought I'd show it off because he's really proud of that. So after the swim trials, we had gone to, and we only stayed for part of it. We stayed from Tuesday to Wednesday. No, Thursday. Tuesday to Thursday. At Thursday, we left and we drove all the way to a place called Clayton, Missouri, because Bishop had a swim meet there. So we are obviously in Oklahoma, so this is not a out of town one. This is an outdoor pool, so for adults watching it, it was miserable. Because when we're outside in the sun, we had these canopies set up for shade, but it was hot and humid. Very uncomfortable from the spectator standpoint, for sure. Also limited seating, but Bishop had a little bit of a break from swimming. He still actually, this is funny, and you're going to think I'm making this up. While we were at Indianapolis watching the swim trials, the coach had set up a place in Indianapolis for him to go do some practice swims. So him and some of the teammates from Swim Tulsa actually went to a high school there and did some swim training so that they wouldn't lose any of their progress while they were gone. So yeah, on vacation, he still swam. Anyway, for the most part, it was supposed to be he would have more of a break. So the idea was his body would be better rested. He would come to Clayton, Missouri to swim this 3-day swim meet, and he would be faster. And it didn't go well. This marks the 3rd straight swim meet that he's been at where he's actually not dropping time, but gaining time. And as a parent, it is so rough. Because I'm watching him get up at like 5:30 in the morning to go swim practice in the morning. He comes home, he gets a couple hours sleep, then he's got swim practice in the afternoon. And that goes, another 3 or 4 hours. And he's doing this every day, and he's practicing more than he was during the school year, and he's practicing harder, and he's going slower. It's rough. So when you see, you guys know this. If you watch your kids and they're practicing or whatever, and let's say they're doing football or something, and they do worse, but they don't practice very well, or they miss some practice, it makes sense. But when they're trying harder and then they do worse, it's rough. So his first day there, he dropped time, I think, in one thing, and it's maybe like by 0.2 of a second, so it's pretty much a wash. But the other things, he pretty much gained time, like significant too, like a second, which is in a pool, a second's large. He was mad and heartbroken. Very, very frustrated with himself. He didn't know. No one could get him out of it. Even his girlfriend was there, and she couldn't get him out of it. He was definitely in a funk. He went to bed like at 7:30. Woke up the next morning. We got to try again. Whatever happened during that rest, at least he got in a better mood. So the next day, I'm like, please let this first event be faster. Nope, slower still. Another slow one. So now we have 3 swim events, and only one of them he's gone faster. Actually, we've had at this point 4 swim events, and only one he's gone slightly faster in. Then he does another event and he goes slightly faster in that one, and then another event that he's slower again. So I was like, goodness gracious. So it was really, really tough watching this. And I'm tracking his times, and some of the times that are getting are the same times he had last year. So it's almost like, even though he's been practicing and doing all this stuff, he's the same speed he was last year. So which is weird. So he's faster in February and March and April, and now all of a sudden he's slow. Come Sunday, but luckily he, by the way, took it like a champ. That he didn't get as worked up. He just it is what it is. His coach must have said the right things to him. This is just kind of a training thing. He comes in Sunday, and his favorite events are the 50-meter freestyle, 200-meter freestyle, and the 400-meter freestyle. And this is all long course. The 200 was on Sunday, and thank God, and I don't know how he did it, he finally dropped a significant amount of time. That he actually improved. He went 1.34 seconds faster, which is a significant improvement. Great there. So finally, and I got to yell and cheer and was really proud. But in his other events, he was still slower. So I was like, man, it was just tough. So even though we get through all this, we're driving back, we go to Buc-ee's and stuff, and I'm thinking, man, I just don't know what to do. I feel so bad for him. You got a kid that's working his tail off, and then still he's going slower except for certain things. It's really rough. And the Coach Lynn at Swim Tulsa, she's fantastic. She's like, he just hasn't been pushed this hard, and now that he's getting pushed hard, it's taking a while for his muscles, to recover and stuff and things like that. But also, he had put on some weight, and I'm probably telling too much information. But he put on some weight, not fat. It's just like He looks more like a power lifter now than he does what he did before as a lean swimmer. Because he went from like 181, now he's 191, so it's 10 pounds, but it's like 10 pounds of muscle, or in water, it's 10 pounds of drag. But I don't know. It's really rough. That's the best way I could say it. Because I don't know very many kids that try as hard as he does at anything at this swimming. I don't have to say, hey, get your ass up and go to swim. I never have to say that. He just gets up and does it himself. I don't have to tell him to try harder, stop goofing off, you're wasting my money, none of that. He just does it. I never have to do any of that. And even so, there's times where I'm like, you could skip swim practice. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. He still goes. He just doesn't want to let people down. He wants it. He wants it bad. So when you're watching him do all that and then he gets slower, it's really, really tough. I don't know. And his times really aren't even, we're in Oklahoma. And just to give you an idea, we went to Clayton, Missouri. They had 15 pools around that area. Their swim club that was there had 400 members. Swim Tulsa, where he swims, has 40. They have a 500-member waiting list, too, at the Missouri one. We have 2 Olympic-sized pools in all of Oklahoma. They had 15 in the area around St. Louis. So we're not the most competitive at swimming anyway, and his times are they're okay. And I'm not trying to knock him. He knows this too. Oklahoma's just not fast. Just to give you also an idea, the Olympic trials themselves, there were only 5 swimmers from the entire state of Oklahoma. Of those 5, only 1 made it to finals. His name was Aiden Hayes. And he actually swims for a college now, obviously. He's not in Oklahoma, so he's probably getting faster because he's going to college somewhere else. But he finished 5th, though, I think it was the 100-meter butterfly. So good for him. But that's our fastest boy that we have from Oklahoma. The rest of them, I don't think they even made the finals. And we only had 5. When Bishop went to that Topeka meet a few months ago, which now he's slower than he was then, and that was slow then, they had 13 on their board that went to the trials. So Oklahoma just isn't that. Now he's still getting college offers, but they're like to D3 schools and really like to do at least a D2. But I don't know. We're trying to find a sports nutritionist for him now because we think maybe that's part of a problem. Is maybe we're just giving him the wrong foods, which is most likely the case. It definitely ain't helping him. So we need to get him back to the 181 weight, which is weird because it's not like it's fat. There might be some fat on him, but he literally looks like he's ready to go lifting the powerlifting thing. He's just strong. His calves are strong. His quads are big. He just looks strong, but it's kind of slowing you down the water thing. Anyway, longer talk about that. I'm going to end it there just because I feel like I've been blabbing too long. Guys, thanks for watching. Remember, I am no Superman. I do not port cast iron heads. I can't believe you listened to the swimming part. But just know, if you're a kid right now and you're watching this, which isn't be surprised, but I guess the analytics says some kids do. Know this, if you're trying at sports stuff, your parents are right there with you struggling, even though they're not in the water with you or not in the practice football field, basketball court, baseball, whatever. Every bad thing that happens, they're taking it too. We do feel for you. I promise you that. It's not easier on this side of the field than the other because we want you to be successful, or a good parent does. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, I'm no Superman. You guys take care.